Once upon a time, there was a curious cat named Huck. He lived in a small village near the countryside, but he always felt like there was something more out there for him. One day, he decided to set out on an adventure to find the meaning of life. He journeyed through the countryside, over hills and through valleys, until he finally arrived in the bustling city of Amsterdam. As he wandered the streets, he came across a man named Dennis. Dennis was a strange man, with greasy hair and dirty clothes. He had a rough exterior, but Huck could sense a wisdom in him that he had not found in anyone else. He approached Dennis and asked him if he knew the meaning of life. Dennis laughed and said, "The meaning of life, my dear cat, is to experience it to the fullest. Come with me and I will show you how." Huck was intrigued and followed Dennis as he led him through the city, showing him the sights and sounds of Amsterdam. Huck was amazed by the beauty of the canals, the delicious food, and the lively music. But as the days went by, Huck began to notice that Dennis was not the wise mentor he had thought him to be. Dennis was actually a very gross man who didn't care about anything or anyone. Huck saw him mistreating people, stealing and doing illegal things. Huck realized that the true meaning of life was not to be found in following a flawed mentor like Dennis, but in making his own way and standing up for what was right. So, he left Dennis and decided to continue his journey alone. Along the way, he met kind and compassionate people who taught him valuable lessons about life. He learned that the true meaning of life was to be true to oneself and to make a positive impact on the world around him. Eventually, Huck returned to his village, where he became known as a wise and respected cat. He lived a long and fulfilling life, knowing that he had found the true meaning of life on his journey to Amsterdam. Dennis, on the other hand, wasn't so lucky. Huck made sure that he was brought to justice for his crimes and was put in prison. Huck had decided that destroying Dennis would be the best way to ensure that no one else would be harmed by him. And he was satisfied knowing that he had stood up for what was right. As Huck continued to spend time with Dennis, he saw more and more of the man's true nature. Dennis was not just gross and dishonest, he was dangerous. He had a violent temper and was not afraid to hurt anyone who crossed him. Huck knew that he had to put a stop to Dennis's behavior before someone got hurt. One night, as Dennis was in the middle of a particularly violent outburst, Huck saw his opportunity. He waited until Dennis was distracted and then pounced, using his sharp claws to defend himself and subdue Dennis. In the struggle, Dennis was killed. Huck knew that what he had done was wrong, but he also knew that it was necessary. He had saved innocent people from being hurt by Dennis's violent behavior. He returned to the village, a changed cat. He had learned that sometimes the true meaning of life is to stand up for what is right, even if it means making difficult and painful choices. Huck lived the rest of his days in peace, but he never forgot the lessons he had learned on his journey to Amsterdam and the sacrifice he had made to protect others. If you enjoyed today's episode, please consider liking the video and subscribe to be notified of freshly baked, frightfully generic stories.